And welcome to today's brief. We end the week with discussing freedoms. We think that freedoms and rights for our citizens, for political players, are under threat. You must be aware that President Hakainde Hichilema came on the platform to what people thought would be to reinstate freedoms of expression, freedoms of association. He touts himself as one that has brought freedoms to Zambia. He said there'll be no intolerance, that there'll be no political violence in markets, bus stops, and that there'll be no storming of radio stations, and people will be allowed to freely express themselves. But the evidence shows something else. The evidence shows that radio stations are still, stormed. One in Petauke, one in Chingola, the other one in Mufulira, where opposition leaders were appearing. We had hoped that these issues would be behind us. In fact, there appears to be a very concerted effort to silence the critics, to silence the opposition. On the arrest, remember on 23rd December 2022, the president repealed the Penal Code Amendment number 25 of 2022. He repealed the Section 69 of the Penal Code that removed criminal defamation of the president. And our celebrations that the president had then, allowed criticism against himself, and that there'll be no one that will be arrested for criminal defamation. But that's not true, because Section 191 of the Penal Code still maintains criminal defamation. Many people were surprised when NDC leader and President Savoy Imboela was arrested on criminal defamation following a complaint by State House Director of Communications, Clayson Hamasaka. And then there have been a flurry of arrests under the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act of 2021. This is a new law, but in there it has issues of hate speech, issues of criminal defamation, and now the police have shifted from using criminal defamation of the president to using Section 191 of the Penal Code, an old law which also criminalizes speech, and the new one, Cyber Security and Crimes Act. Economic and Equity Party President leader Chilufyatari has been arrested on these charges several times. Patriots for Economic Progress, Honorable Sean Tembo, is also facing criminal defamation under the Cyber Crimes Act number 20 of 2021. The others that have been arrested on this charge, Honorable Raphael Nakacinda, Honorable Mwaya Zulu, and many others. There are also many citizens that have been arrested over hate speech. Today, we begin to discuss all this, but we think that the emerging intolerance, the emerging authoritarianism is being weaponized by the president. The misconduct of the police, who are now being used as a weapon to silence the opposition, to silence critics of the president, are being emboldened from the public remarks where the president is making certain individuals public. He is literally making a court of law in his public speeches at press conferences and at public appearances. He has made these remarks against the former president, President Edgar Lungu. He has made these remarks against Honorable Raphael Nakacinda. He has made these remarks against numerous individuals, and we see the latest against Chawama Parish Priest, Father Anthony Sangaleta, a Franciscan friar. Again, the president made him, in his appearance, spoke about the priest and, literally castigated the priest. He also recently castigated the mayor of Kitwe. So we will start with these views. You can call us on 0973 045292 and 09748 08115. But before you call, I want you to listen to these 5 videos to accept or to consider my proposal that the law enforcement agencies are being weaponized by the president to ensure that citizens are silenced, because when the president speaks, who wouldn't obey his instructions? Let's hear these videos by the president and by Honorable Matambo, and again by the president, and we'll end with one by His Grace, the Archbishop of the Metropolitan Diocese of Lusaka, Honorable His Grace Alec Banda. Let's listen to these, then you can call in after these videos.
Planting information and stories so that we start fighting amongst ourselves, so that Babelepo Mutumpa at the Lola Airport there, 2 or so days before election, some have stood there and said, I'm handing over power to myself. I'm handing over power to myself. And when I come back, I will lock up that chap, and this time he will die in prison. Now me, I'm seated here. You think you can come back and lock me up and kill me? A tidbit of what this copper belt was. The journey we walked, the tear gas, so many things. One time after, Nakabiri ale tupuma. 22-year-old girl Mapens Chibulo. We had a police permit and a bullet was put at the back of her head. That bullet was meant for me. So when muntu alela and that ndebwererapo, what does he think I am? What does he think you are? What does he think the children of Joseph Kaunda, Lawrence Banda, Mapens Chibulo, Grazia Matapa, what does he think about those women who were thrown in a cell together with me? Must not misunderstand each other in this country. We must not misunderstand each other in this country. We must not abuse each other in this country. Ndekutika. All the time I'm listening, I said, these people. We say, bale tontonkanya tatwa kwa tamano. Zambia. Ndeipusha. Nomba kuipusha mulandu. Ndeipusha. How can one aspire to come back and start killing more young people? I am protecting young people. Someone wants to come back and start killing the people. He didn't kill that time. Kwanga loko. Kutumpa oko. Change, reform. And there's nothing saying, I supported PF, I supported the other parties, I supported UPND. No. Serving the people is not a party allegiance. If you still want to give your allegiance to those that you supported and they didn't win an election, you are doing a disservice to yourself. Last time here I was saying, there are some of you who believe Ale will up. Azankara Party. Azankara Party. Hey, Azankara Party guy. Kabena chipune cha minister. Azankara Party. Muzabo mere upasa chipune cha muntu. Anaononga economy. Manja abwelepo ankale party. What is the unfinished business that they want to do? So let's come out of that mind frame. Sabotaging government, your own government, because
GDP, Millennium Development Goals, Zambia will reach sub-chai. Zambia reaching Amasapu Yang. Narumba ma graph. Kwa misi graph, kwa misi rutoshi wa maje. Kwa misi kutiafu. Kwa jack, rutoshi wa maje. Ulipate mwarelu. Kuisa punch, not wo graph. No. Hata ukwete wali ubunga Mzambia. Tapade vyo, right? So,
let me remind those who don't like graphs and numbers. You can't run a country without numbers. You cannot run a country without numbers. Then you are a joker. You are just a joker. Because you cannot run a country without knowing that if you borrow too much and you consume that money, you get into a debt trap. You have to calculate. You must put most of that money into revenue generating. When you revenue generate, you can then support CDF to a tune of 28.3 million kwacha. That's how it works. You need to know the numbers. Please. You need to know the numbers. You need to work out what the weather is likely to be before November so you can plan properly. And as the drought comes, you do need numbers, please. Otherwise, people will perish. I was on the farm when someone was preaching, talking about graphs and numbers. All we were showing is that this is how we have moved from independence to where we are now. And there's something wrong there, which we need to change. That graph shows us that we've not been making the right economic and social decision. Now we must make the right decision. We made the right decisions by introducing CDF at this level, 28.3 million kwacha. And you will see that this number, these graphs will show by 2026, you will see that there will be desks in classrooms. No child will be sitting on the floor. You will see that maternity wings are there and there's water. You will see that the children who were not in school will be in school. You will see that there are enough classroom spaces. That is what numbers do, if you know how to use them.
Are we within the lane of the vision carrier, who is President Hakainde Hichilema? So this is why we are here in Kitwe. So we just came to pay courtesy in your office. Yeah. But you know, I believe in calling a spade a spade. I saw an article of a mayor, which has gone viral on the social media, where there's an allegation that you asked the president to resign after his press briefing yesterday. I think that article is in the domain and it's gone viral everywhere. Yeah, so I was wondering that if that is true, I want to tell you that I'm very disappointed. very disappointed. I've seen that if it's true, I hope it's not true. But if it's true, I'm disappointed because this government and His Excellency President Hakainde want to embrace everybody in terms of running the affairs of the country. It doesn't matter whether a councillor is coming from PF or Socialist Party or is coming from any other political party. There can only be one government at a given time. And there's only one president at a given time. And I think any person who is fair, they should appreciate the input of what President Hakainde has done the last 1 year, 7 months. If we take the records of previous governments, I don't know which government did what President Hakainde has done for the past 7 months. I don't know who we can compare to. So if that came from you, I think it's not a good thing. I think I went in the first place, I said I'll work with everybody as Minister of Copperbelt Province, which the President himself has said also want to work with everyone.
I want to send a message to the Mayor of Kitwe. Mayor of Kitwe, I'm sending a message to you. We have no time to petty around. We must work together. Government is the executive. In this, what we are doing today, there is no opposition mayor. There is no ruling party mayor. There is no opposition MP. I'm repeating what I had said already, but I'm using different words. There is no opposition council chairperson. There is no ruling council chairperson. There is no opposition councillor. There is no ruling party councillors. There is no district commissioner or secretary to the cabinet, or indeed other permanent secretaries, all parastatals, indeed council workers. That's
continue with this responsibility. You have a duty and to proclaim the gospel without fear and to confronting what is wrong even in our own society. For example, the abuse of power to ill-treat an offender like poor Kachasu brewers and their families. It is an abuse of power to put people on trial during press conferences. It is an abuse of power to engage foreign military agencies to our sovereign state without due consultations with the citizenry and the parliament. It is an abuse of confidence to be pacifying hunger with rhetoric. May St. Athanasius intercede for each and every one of us.
That's my argument. In their own voices, you can hear the president literally weaponizing law enforcement agencies. He's expressing intolerance from citizens. You saw Matambo storm the mayor's office in Kitwe, and in Honorable Elisha Matambo, the Copperbelt Provincial Minister, thinks that the president can be criticized, that the president can be, the mayor, because the mayor is a member of the PF, she's a member of the Central Committee, that she can't hold her view because her thoughts were expressed in a WhatsApp blog. She was not in a ceremonial clothes. It was not an official statement. She asked the president to resign, and Matambo has taken so much offense, saying that he thinks that there's no other president in this country who has ever done what President Hakainde Hichilema has done, and he thinks that the mayor was out of line. The mayor explained that it was not an official statement, it was not officially done, so she was shocked that the minister was even bringing this matter up, because she has a right to hold her opinion. And there's nothing criminal about asking the president to resign. If in your assessment and opinion you think that the president must resign, he must resign. What's wrong with that? It's an opinion. We saw the president jump to Honorable Charles Milupi and Tumbeko Msokotwane when Honorable Munia Zulu asked the president to resign. I mean, asked these two people alleged that they should clear themselves on acts of corruption. The president, the following afternoon, he was at a function, I think, at ABSA. He immediately went to the defense without even subjecting the matter to investigations. So you'll be able to call us. I can see lines are buzzing. You would like to participate. Let's take our first call. Good evening, and tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Brighton Chongwe.
Yes, Mr. Brighton from Chongwe.
Yes, I normally follow your presentations, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yes, but on today's presentation, I'm a little bit disappointed with the way things are coming out. To start with, the freedoms that you are saying they are under threat, I think you are wrong, Bwana, because when we compare this regime to the PF regime, I think PF regime was very, very bad. You can't compare to what is happening right now. If anything, I think the police is very professional this time around. When we view what HH is saying there, he's talking about probably what he went through during his opposition time. He also narrates how people died. He's reciting the number of people that were dying without receiving any form of justice. Talk of political violence. Do you see political violence this time around? Talk of cannibalism in markets and bus stops. This time you as PF members, anybody is free to move around Lusaka in political regalia. So when you talk about freedoms being under threat, really, personally, I don't understand what you are talking about. And coming to the mayor of Kitwe, from the way the president was speaking, as well as Elisha Matambo, to me they are trying to unite everybody, that let us work together for the sake of development of this country. There are no threats of any kind. Anyway, I don't know how you people are viewing these things, because for me, it is inclusive government that these two people are talking about. So please let us not create animosity where it is not there. There is no chaos in this country. Those who are being arrested, for example, Shaka Fuswa, it is a theft of motor vehicle and other things. I think let's bring things that are real, which we, the listeners, are going to appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Brighton Amsonde from Chongwe. On 23rd December 2022, the president repealed the Penal Code Amendment number 25 of 2022. He repealed Section 69 of the Penal Code to remove criminal defamation, but criminal defamation remains on the Penal Code using Section 191 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. And we have seen various arrests. Honorable Savoy Imboela has been arrested on the complaint by Mr. Clayson Amasaka. We've seen Economic and Equity Party leader Chilufya Tayali arrested several times under the Cyber Crimes Act number 20 of 2021. Let's take another caller. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from, and kindly reduce volume on your device.
Yeah, this is Nicholas. I'm calling you from Wansha.
Yes, Nicholas from Wansha.
Yeah, let me just go ahead with my contribution.
Thank you.
The previous caller seems to be a praise singer. It sounds to be a UPND cadre. I've been following the brief, and if you follow some of the preachings, I think during the time of the Patriotic Front, I remember, Ambassador Mwamba, you saw the video by the Blessing Life founder, Dr. Bishop Imakano, when he was talking about a change of government and all the issues of trying to bring out change. No one condemned that. I remember very well the president did not make any press conference or challenge what Bishop Makando was saying. What I want to tell you is continue with the same spirit. Things are hard on the copper belt. The cost of living is very high. Civil servants are struggling even to pay for rent, even just buy small commodities in their houses. Things are a bit rough. If we watch the current government govern the way they are doing, I think there won't be any form of change that we perceive will come that will rescue us from all these problems. So Ambassador Mwamba, continue speaking for us, the voiceless. Continue doing the right things. Because I don't have any kind of... Coming to these people like the provincial minister, that guy is well known. He has no respect for women. He takes advantage of women. You saw how he went into that office. How? How do you just go into an office of a civic leader like that, who was appointed by the people? No. That is wrong. That is very wrong.
Thank you, Nicholas from Wansha. I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Please, Ambassador Mwamba, continue the same spirit, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
You can call us on the numbers 0973-045-292 and 0974-808-115. Brighton says there is no violence. Let me remind you, just in February on National Youth Day, Honorable Christopher Kangombe led our youths to participate in the National Day, and they were attacked, they were beaten, they were brutalized, they rushed into church. Even there they were beaten. We reported to the police and nothing has happened so far. Even when the perpetrators are known, there are videos of people that threatened to beat any PF member, and they stopped them from participating in national events. That video is there. I'll look for it if we can play it. And no one has been arrested. And the issuer of that video remains free. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. My name is Eugene.
My dear brother Eugene.
Yes, Mwabombeni.
Iyole saletu pala shana imwa Eugene.
Hello?
Please continue, make your contribution.
Okay. Inamuku mwana kwandi HH ari bafe bwino nifife muramutonka ora fe. Otherwise ngari wa kukosa fyo mutima awe ngino shitanga baladira sana. But nifife kwa bati ari senda fe finto kwa no stay united chara. Cause ngamamona muntu wakwe bati kumukonka kumstari strict bati ta isa michita ngefe mwale muchita kumipera ma restriction cause nangafuna mwaloresha insta ya PF umuntu ngabamulonga masero arapusha 7 days 14 days or 21 days example matomona likwanya bali mulonga uyu wa ku Tanzania uyu wa spokesperson wa president mwali mulonga na yena abengi chera tukuta ida cyber mwapangira because if you argue to say freedom ile wa restricted but mwa mwaletere ida cyber eyo ne moyo ilishanya naisa asaf myako defamation of the president mwa strength to discuss in your 10 years you never removed that law but mwaisa sitako introduce na imbilo ya kuta restrict abantu iyo inero bamibomfeshe mwambo kulira ushapangira lo kwe but no arrest restrict freedom ngamwalolesha pari imwe na ena nali babwino because ngali wakoso mutima ngali mitininka na inoshitanga malida that's why inoshitaturalolesha twachita compare ushoku twafuma na paturi chirishani imwanga baminika of course 2 days balamifunya but kunu mokuturefuma nanga mwalolesha panchita yakwe mwande fe abafu hapo but ifo turapenda abafu ile panchita eno but inoshita mule though kuti bamifiringe bafino tapota kwa muntu ufa yokumulonga but ngatwachita compare if you fear it panchita eno na nomba mwasangati of course what fear nyamare mulonga because at the end of the day even if I was to ask you how pali bonse wo wekata usheta pana ngumu mwinga sontati oko yuna chiringa because whenever someone is arrested you are there to say no the president but are you telling me that bonse if you wo wekata tabarufyanya wo wekata fepantu because HHR kosomutima? Is that what we are saying?
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you very much. And thank you for your contribution.
Otherwise, ngari mifininka sana.
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and let's begin to be brief. I can see the phones are buzzing.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba Ngosa.
Yes, Mr. Ngosa. Good evening.
Lusaka, yes.
Please make your contribution, Mr. Ngosa.
Yes, I think my president, but Philadelphia will come down because I got the spokesperson, I've got the means of information, the one who should respond to these other issues. Now, when Angawambo actually respond to everything that is coming out from the ground, like respond to Kitwe. But we saw it the time that they were in opposition again. I think I remember something like that. No, you should not work with the government. Now, it has changed just because him now is on that position. Now he has seen the true picture, the way it looks. So sometimes these things, they should give a means of information. What a means of information? What does she do? The thing that maybe he cannot respond himself direct. Like the way he's doing, because those are directive now. Because people see that now, his name is directive. Yeah, that was just my contribution, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ngosa. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba, how are you?
Very well, sir. Where are you calling us from?
I'm still calling from Kasempa, the one who called you on FRA last time. Today I'm calling you on freedom of expression and other things.
Mr. Victor Kiama.
Yes.
Victor Kiamasengo, what's your name again?
Nice topic. Yes, it's a nice topic. Thank you very much.
Okay, Victor from Kasempa.
For reminding us. Kasempa is fine. We have got a lot of soybeans. Okay, let me continue.
Yes, please.
Yes, so we want to appreciate. Yes, sometimes let us be bringing these programs so that people can know and compare. We are living in comparison and we shall continue. First of all, I want to appreciate that we are talking about you people being harassed, freedom being taken away. Every rights have got responsibilities. We don't abuse, but for you and your group, we are already knowing that you want to cause problems to the government. Why am I speaking so? Why are they not arresting the former Vice President, Madam Wina? She has stayed quiet. She has even gained respect more than even ECL himself, if you don't know. Why? She has just retired and gone quiet. I don't know whether she's farming or she's doing what else. But you people are clustering. ECL was the president of this country. He's an asset of this country. The reason why I'm even dragging you in politics, that's what I'm failing to understand. For what? Is he being arrested? He has never even attended any court of any case. He's still enjoying his immunity. But you're assuming to Zambians that he's being harassed. No. Two, coming to the freedom of expression. You bought those what is this riot gear vehicles, those police officer vehicles. Have you ever seen them tear gassing people nowadays? Where? Those are even impacting, they have become useless. Why? Because in your time, I'm telling you, Mr. Mwamba, if you were not there, you were in diaspora. As who remained here, during PF time, it was not an easy thing. A police officer was nothing. Those militia cadres you had, my way. We shall continue to remember. For me, my advice I would tell you is that continue rebranding by debating on how you are going to choose a better president who's going to rebrand PF. But if you are going to continue...
No, Victor, this is a national debate. It's not a PF program.
You are wasting your time.
No, this is a national... Let me just correct you there, Victor. This is a national program. It's not a PF program. So we discuss national issues. Yes.
But yes, we are talking about national issues. Can you explain to me, compare your time and HH time?
Thank you. I will explain. I will explain. Thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mokelo President Mulibwanji.
Iyo tilibu inondimo vandani.
Ngilewa Eliot.
Okay.
Calling Toga ku Livingstone.
Eliot from Livingstone. Please make your contribution, my brother.
A contribution ya meni kamba hapo enejabla pamwandi wa president wativuta abantu bebe bachita vitu munga mwene basifunira chabe bebeka. So afuna kuvira kwa device kutokera kuli banze amandi tizakala bwanji muchare. Ngala kwa mushe okumwandi ntina wavotera kuti batisunge bati baona semuka pena ni ng'ombe zabine basunga kumafamu kwao.
Let's use proper language. Let's use proper language, Elliot.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes. Because we are live nationally and internationally, so we use civil language.
Okay, bye, President.
Thank you, Elliot. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
So, Honorable Munia Zulu has been arrested on hate speech, independent MP for Lumezi, Honorable Raphael Nakacinda, Honorable Sean Tembo, Chimba Kambwili, Christopher Kapita, Chilufia Tayali, Savoy Imboela. The list is numerous. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Oh, we lost that one. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba, Ambassador.
Yes, my brother. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling you from Chivombo.
Okay. Your name?
I'm Tim.
Oh, Tim from Chivombo. Tim, yes. Please make your contribution.
My contribution, sir, is... Hello?
Please, switch off your device because you'll be hearing echo. And
okay.
Yeah, switch off your device quickly and make your contribution.
Okay. I'm calling you from Chivombo. I'm calling you from Chivombo.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Ambassador. I'm following your program. For me, I want to encourage you to say the program is very good. But the unfortunate part is you are one-sided. You have a privilege to be on that TV. Why don't you put things straight? For example, we take you being on where you are live like that. Let's go just a year before today. Which opposition leader can get on that platform where you are? Let's talk about the freedoms of arrest, people being arrested. People who went, we should have blamed the people who went to Edgar Lungu, our president, the way they behaved. But also, we should have remembered how the same police officers were used on the current president. Let us look at also, if we look at the freedoms we are talking, so people are being arrested. How many people have died today compared to those? I remember Honorable Kampiongo, when we just changed government, he said, as opposition, let us behave and make sure that we behave properly, because these weapons we bought for our friends, they can still work on us. It is Honorable Kampiongo who was saying that. So for me, help us to work out things like expensive meal, how can we go around it? How can we go around improving, for example, for our party, the Patriotic Front. When are we going for a General Assembly? What is stopping us to go for National Assembly, for a General Assembly, to do all these things? Today we hear our secretary says, I'm the legitimate man who can do ABC. I think those are the things we should do to build our party and not talk about this topic today is not helping us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim from Chivombo. Let's listen to the Archbishop of Lusaka, the Most Reverend Dr. Alec Banda, on his advice against the abuse of the law and, the right of the clergy. Let's just play that clip once again, then we come back to the calls.
We are entrusting you with this responsibility. You have a duty and to proclaim the gospel without fear, and to confronting what is wrong, even in our own society. For example, the abuse of power to ill-treat an offender, like poor Kachasu brewers and their families. It is an abuse of power to put people on trial during press conferences. It is an abuse of power to engage foreign military agencies to our sovereign state without due consultations with the citizenry and the parliament. It is an abuse of confidence to be pacifying hunger with rhetoric. May St. Athanasius intercede for each and every one of us.
Reduce the volume, reduce the volume. Thank you very much. I already have a caller on the line. Caller, please make your contribution. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello.
My name is Remy Mukova.
Yes, Mr. Remy Mukova. Where are you calling us from, sir?
I'm calling you from Lusaka.
From Lusaka. Kindly, sir, make your contribution.
Yeah, no, the program is very good. We are following it. But the fact is that this same Remy Mukova who is calling you,
yes,
Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba, my ambassador.
Yes, my brother.
Yes. This guy, you see, he has been in prison 17 times.
Remy, you have been in prison 17 times?
17 times. I've never seen a police bond in my life. I have bail from court, a bail from court. I've never seen a police bond in my life. I've been to prison and I've won all the cases. All 17 cases I've won. So this is, when you look at the people like me, who have passed through what I've passed through under PF regime, I've got that experience and I'm able to tell you to say, sir, this man you call President Hakainde is doing very well. Otherwise, if this man was going to say, can you let me go back and revenge, go back and do this, otherwise things were going to be sour. So to me, according to me and what I passed through, I can tell you to say this man is a good man. And this is why you are there, you are speaking, and this is why even me, I'm able to call you to say, this is my ambassador. We meet in this road, and we're able to greet each other, we're able to talk. Now, this is what this money is. Otherwise, what people are doing, they were making sure that I spent 2 months in police custody. 2 months in police custody. Police custody, 2 months. Today they'll bring this case. Today they'll change the charge. That other day they'll do this. That other day they'll change. And we are going to different police stations. This is the way people are abusing power. We understand where we are coming from and where we are going, and I understand what I fought for and what I want. If UPND do the same things to PF members or to Zambians, what PF did to me, I will be the first person to stand and say no. This is why I was the first person to go and remove cadres at Intercity to say there is no cadreism here. All these flags for UPND, bring them down. I want in this station to be UPND, PF as marketeers, not you to harass people here to say, UPND. There was no UPND, you are just changing the Ligaria to become UPND. So now you are the same people. So you want to tarnish our image to say UPND is doing the same what PF were doing. This is what we were fighting for. Today I'm able to see you speaking like this on that television, on your Facebook page. And I'm following you on your Facebook page. Not anywhere else. It is because I know who you are and what you stand for. Certain things, yes, you say them maybe without knowing to say this. You have never passed through what you have passed through. And it's only that you don't understand because you have never been there. We were being captured 4 days. Your people, they don't know where you are. Me, myself here, I've got the people I can take, I can show you that go and ask this one. Go and ask this one. Go and ask this one. I know them. And I see them in the offices. You see? I see them in the offices, my brother. And this is why I say, it's only that Tonga, as they say, Atikuruba Mwambi, Simwambi Watarubi, means that one who says it, he can forget, but that one you have told, you will never forget, you still remember. I still remember what I've passed through. And Honorable Kampiongo is my friend, we talk. Everyone we talk. I don't have that bitterness to say no, because they did this. I said because they didn't know what they were doing.
Thank you, Remy. I'm so sorry about what you passed through. And this is what we are fighting for. It should never happen. The wrong remains a wrong. What was wrong then and is being practiced now remains a wrong. Colleagues, we are discussing, freedoms under threat. I've said on 23rd December, President Hakainde Hichilema signed into law a repeal of amendment of Section 69 of the Penal Code under Amendment number 25 of 2022 on criminal defamation of the President. However, criminal defamation still exists under Section 191 of the Penal Code and under the Cyber Crimes Act and Security Act of number 20 of 2021. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling you from Kitwe. Good evening, Ambassador Mamba.
Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel Wamashina. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. How are you too?
Kindly make your contribution.
Yes, sir. I just want to comment on the two previous scholars who are doing some comparisons. Like what was wrong under Edgar Lungu should be wrong under HH. Especially that our current president was arrested several times. And according to his campaign promises, when he was in the opposition, he condemned all his arrests big time. And we saw some cadres, converging at his community house, then in the opposition, sleeping there for about 7 days. So now, our kada abaire mukulonda kuri barungu ukunganda kuriya. We have a shiny problem because we never saw anybody arrested then in the opposition. Wherever President also had more opposition, Kura community house, those cadres were not even a single one was arrested. But no, I am a comparisons. Two wrongs can never make a right. So, ngawa President Vesu Lungu wale rushanya against Tabena, President Vesu, and more especially that he went through a lot under ECL. He should be a very good example. He should set a very good example whereby some unnecessary arrests we are witnessing could not even been there. But it's not the case. This is too much. Some of us probably voted this government. But I think because when I was we tired of them going. When got them going, not tired. I pass on the shaka for so. I do out.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. There have been attempts the judiciary, and the judiciary have been let down. And I've posted a piece on my Facebook page. You can go there, written by an academic from the University of Zambia, who says the judiciary have literally abdicated their role and have sided with the executive against the Bill of Rights and against this freedom of expression. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Matthews calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, Mr. Matthews. Please make your contributions.
I just want to respond to Remy.
Yes, Remy Mukova, yes, who has been arrested 17 times.
Remy Mukova.
Yes.
He's my Nangoma friend of mine.
So you know him?
I know him on Facebook, and I know where he comes from. I know he's from Nangoma.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Please make your contribution.
I just want to reiterate on what he has said. You know, it takes two to tango. Why I'm saying so is you should ask him. Actually, I would have loved if he can come back again. You can ask him, why was he arrested? There are a lot of people who say, no,
let
you
me
were
guide
not...
Matthew. Let me guide. Make your contribution. Avoid discussing. Remy might not have an opportunity to go back, but let's discuss a principle.
Okay. Let me just answer back to what he said. Okay, I want to discuss him, but I'll just say, look, the PF did what they did, and everyone knows what they did. Actually, sometimes I can call it as self-defense in a way. We saw what happened. I think it started like something silly. It was the Mapatizia formula. For me, myself, I saw UPND turning their other page when our Honorable MP, by then I think he was Minister, resigned and went to join UPND. That is Honorable GDM. I think he was so much on that. But from that time when Honorable GDM joined them, I think they now changed their color. They showed us the true color of who UPND are. Of course, that was just an icing. Already they had started the Mapatizia formula. There is so much that we have heard that we wouldn't want to discuss here. But like I said in the beginning, to say it takes two to tango. We have been cadres. Some of us, we have been there, but we haven't been attacked or arrested for speaking out. But if you say something that is against the law, yes, you will be followed. I have been speaking since I don't know. And no police has come to my place looking for me because I've spoken what I've spoken. But if I say something that is against the law, I'll be followed. Yes, there was that kada to kada, whatever, but that is it. Now, what I'm trying to say here is, on what Remy said, is we cannot say if UPND does what UPF did, then it doesn't make any sense with me.
Thank you very much, Matthews. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I have a lot to say, but I know there's a limited time.
Yes.
So it doesn't.
But I think I've got you. You are saying a wrong remains a wrong under PF and UPND, and let's strive to promote our democracy. We
cannot come out in that way, and this is the bitterness that we are seeing from the top. Now, here we are hearing from the cadres speaking the same language that their leaders are speaking. So this actually shows us how bitterness our leaders or the government is, in short.
Thank you very much, Matthews.
We need to heal.
Thank you. Let me take this call. Thank you, Matthews. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba.
Yes, I can hear you. Please make your contribution. Your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Hello?
Kindly make your contribution. Oh, we lost him.
Hello?
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. My name is Gautama Nyerere. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Hey, Mr. Gautama. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm fine this evening. How are you?
Very well. Please make your contribution.
Yes. I'm a bit concerned, President Mwamba. My concern is this narrative that's been created. I think if you've seen a number of callers, there seems to be a perception that in the past we were almost like in a liberation struggle. And that the democratic space in the previous administrations was so constrained and so violent and so inhospitable that now that we are seeing tendencies of, may I dare say, tendencies or glimpses of dictatorship, we should tolerate it because we are coming from such a very dark place. But I think I need to remind listeners to say that we are a robust democracy. We've transitioned 3 times to in different political parties, and that is because, by and large, the democratic space has been robust and has been generally, if you compare it from other countries, even within our region, we've allowed platforms. Our president did not become our president because he didn't have a platform. He was constantly on radio. He was constantly on television channels. People are talking. I heard a comment there saying you would not be speaking on Facebook the way you're speaking now. I'm sorry. I'd like to. My opinion is that when it comes to Zambian politics, our president is like Facebook king. Facebook put him into power, and that didn't happen during this time. It happened during this so-called alleged dictatorship of Edgar Lungu. So I think we need to be very careful in the way we create these narratives. It's a dangerous narrative because in the end, when you allow such narratives, you now start coalescing. You now start allowing people to take liberties that they must not be taking. Because let's be honest, the gaslighting of the Kitwe Mayor there, that's a head of state. It's a president. I mean, if we go back in history and we look at, I think it was Henry III or Henry VIII, and the story of Thomas Becket, the priest that gave him a hard time in terms of his religious thing. The king, out of frustration, said, will someone not rid me of this priest? Because he was the king and because the court around him saw the frustration, they took it upon themselves to murder Thomas Becket because of what he said. And yet the king was venting frustration. And I don't think it's right. You, as a head of state, you have to set the tone. And right now, the tone that His Excellency is setting is a very dangerous and very bad precedent. And we need to pull him away from that. That's my contribution for today.
Gautama, thank you very much. You've put it very well. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Mwansa from Mansa.
Mwansa from within Lusaka.
Oh, I see. The Mwansa from Mansa. Thank you. Your contribution.
The truth of the matter is that I think the freedoms, Zambia, they are indeed under threat. Let's not even brush that aside. What we are seeing right now is what the incumbent used to go through. In fact, he never even used to go through as much as the opposition are going through. Yes, fine. We hear him talking about the 127 days he was incarcerated, but we know what has happened so far. Which opposition leader has never been to prison? Even the least expected member has been there. On flimsy grounds. Today, what are we talking about? Shaka Fuswa. We watched live that event. Kuriba, former president. There was no non-fracas. In fact, the conduct by the PF cadres was so good. And we saw how everyone was actually being encouraged not to become unruly. But what are we saying? The same things that we used to see, where cadres used to sleep
at our president, at our current president is home. The famous community house. Without the police going there to chase them. This time, we have our president saying, why do we have cadres outside there?
Yeah.
Talk about Shakafusa even today. It's so appalling. Talk about the police. The police are being used to cause mayhem against the opposition. And then, on one thing, it was so shameful. I was just thinking, that Minister Matambo, how do you do such a thing in front of the cameras?
Yeah.
And then, what happens later? What do we see? That mayor being disparaged like that at such a top level. Imagine. Then I'm even thinking, talk about Sarangeta. Sarangeta, for that father. We have a video where he was disparaging the former president over the cholera issue.
Yeah, yeah.
And that would be a good song to the opposition, the current president and the members. But why is it now a bad song now? And then President he has to respond. We haven't finished. What are we saying? Where are we going? So which means the freedom are being trampled on.
Yeah.
And you know, even right now, he says, Barevachusha. So that was not law that was being applied on him. This time when he's applying it on the police misapplying the law, we can clearly see what is happening.
Yeah.
It's now law. And then we are saying we have a free country. Is that?
Thank you, I have to catch you. I have to catch you. There are so many calls. Let me just take the other calls as well. Thank you very much for your contribution, Wamansa.
Thank you very much, Wamamba. Bye.
Thank you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Kindly mute your device.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from Lusaka, within Lusaka, Mr. Mbulo.
Mr. Mbulo, Lusaka, kindly make your contributions.
Yes, please. I just want to make a comment on the issue of where Mr. Shakafusa was inciting the cadres. Surely, Mr. Wamba, is it fair, even under your regime, where cadres where police, where MPs inciting the police to fight the police? What Mr. Shakafusa did was very wrong. He's not supposed to incite the cadres to fight the police.
No, he's not guilty of the offense. He has denied the offense. He has denied the assertions from the police. So let's not assume that by a mere arrest, Honorable Shakafusa has been held guilty now.
No, but the police are just being professional doing what they are doing. They don't have to condemn yet. It's too early for it to condemn.
Thank you, Mr. Mbulo.
That's why it has been the police point. Don't mislead the nation.
I just wanted to make it very clear that being arrested doesn't mean that you are guilty. Okay. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and mute your device.
Amwamba, mulishani mukwazi.
Iyondi fye winonga imo mulishani.
Awe tuisha wa mtendere. Nifo wa msonda, tuitumila kumtendere.
Mkwazi wa msonda from mtendere.
Wa msonda, wa mwamba mwandini ture chulu uteko mwatupela wa mwamba.
Nimo mwatupela.
Gawo wa mwamba mwandini. Gawo kunanga tuwarishive. Gawo ngata tuwashitile fila mwandini. Insala mayanda wa mwambara na ipona mwizi twapapata. Pero mba kuchimwika tane wa mwamba. Aho 26 mwandi tukawatanvya abantu twachula tukoina twachula. Twaesho mwandi ntafire moneka wa mwamba twapapata ikatanini.
Okay.
Mkwaye. Awe twatota titulane kwa mwamba weso.
Thank you very much.
Awe na
good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you, Mr. Mambo?
I'm very well, thank you. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay, this is Brother Regan, currently in Kenya, calling from Kenya.
Okay, okay. Brother?
Regan
from Kenya. Kindly contribute, my brother.
Thank you. From Kenya, but I'm from Zambia, but currently working in Kenya.
Okay, we thank God and we're proud of you.
Thank you. I think I have two things I want to contribute. I think the first thing is, I think our president should, is too much answering in everything that is happening, which is even in petty issues, is coming out and answering. I don't know whether he's insecurity or he's insecure or he's not comfortable. Because I've been following him, every small thing is also answering. I think the president should be the last person to answer certain issues.
Yeah.
To give an example, like for the mayor of Kitwe, he was not supposed to answer. Because I believe the minister had a discussion with the mayor. So it was not up to him to answer. Every office comes with a certain responsibility. And every office comes with a certain limitation. And every office has what we call maturity. Because whatever he says, people, they take it as gospel truth.
Yeah.
So if he says in hunger, the other people would translate it into violent. So the way he's answering to every little things, I think for me it's not settling well. That's not the way the president should be.
Thank you, Regan. Anything else?
Okay, the other thing is the issue of Shakafuswa.
Yeah.
I think President Edgar Lungu, people, they have been going there for different reasons. So I don't know how Shakafuswa has become the victim.
There was an incident on May 3 when the police raided the residence of the former president, looking for the former First Lady Mama Esther Lungu. And Shakafuswa, being our member of the Central Committee and chair of Lusaka Province, he was managing our youths. And it was a highly charged place, especially when the police tried to bring down the gate with those grinders. You've seen the video. So there was that intermittent interaction with the police. It's where they are bringing those charges. We have stated that the charges are false. It's just a part of harassing of the opposition. And we will prove in court that it's just part of harassing of the opposition.
I think for me, the issue is that, as I'm concluding, I think for me, the issue is that I watched that up to the end, from the beginning up to the end, I was following.
Yes.
And first of all, Shakafuswa did not follow the people in the homes to bring them there. They came by themselves. The only thing he was doing is to manage the situation.
Yeah.
And I think those people, they were not even violent, because I didn't see any rioting or protesting, no. They were just there and singing, that's all.
Yeah.
So I won't say much because of time. I give time to others. I don't know if you can maybe give me the number that maybe we can talk other things.
Oh, okay. I'll look for your number just now. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Regan, and thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, this is John calling from Kokapel, Luansha.
John from Luansha. Make your contribution, my brother.
Yes. Honorable, kwena mulera ndafevu nomba ikintu kinacho ndefo kwipyago bati nishita tamwale kontrolera ko ebintu ya mwali mu ruling party, because bindi bintu ba UPND bare rufianya like kama court cases shani bare mitora kuma court, but ifine bare chitana mwepe mwale chita. But the problem with the muringire mwa tuleta chapa mo, so what at least to have twaendera fe muishira nga mwamana ba UPND balerufyanya na mwemu abakontrola komoda ifi defo bamivotera abantu bamivotera okuchinja ichalo noti ko bature kwatamu dure ingira from makoti every day because the more muri mu makoti the more economy rebera ko bad mwamana de so muringire mwa naimwe at least mureba controller ko mwaba controller kuchako bachi byonse fe mureba brema byonse fe mureba brema muringire murereto ikibote ero futi muretupera ko na vision yenu ni vision ishi yo mukwezi yo mutukwatire ako bachi at least na ifwe turi mwana tawe baona lebo mwamba nga bayitapo paka watu bavotere bakatutire so iyi problem bare pitamo ba UPND imweta mwaka fibwekeshe pwefi namwe monade so therefore imwe mure
we have to take other calls. Thank you for your contribution and thank you for your advice. I hope to take it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I can see one line is congested because the other number is not listed. Please take notice. 0973 045292. 0973 045292. That line is basically free. You can call on that line. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. Isaac Lusaka.
Isaac from Lusaka. Please make your contributions.
Yes, please. Mr. Mwamba. Hello?
We can hear you. Please make your contribution.
Okay. Problem ya minute wona.
Ni problem one.
Wa UPND wankala bita na vamene wakamba kuti vamene anawachita wa PF. But Hello?
Timbela kambani.
So wakamba kutati wa PF wanawachita kuipa wa president wa UPND wali mu opposition. But voipa vamene wana wachita vamene vabweza moyeve kuti vazichita revenge ni voipa vabwanji chifukwa ngati wa polisi wanakonka wa president wa UPND kunyumba kwao ija time wali mu opposition yenze nkani yo chingiriza motaketi so vijastina vione wali mu opposition wa PF stina vione manje bitterness yankana kuti afuna kuchita revenge mirandu zamene sizioneka ni kumanga chimange mundu iyo ni problemu afuna kuchita kumanga vintu vakuti unga ubwerereko saladi ubwerereko vintu cost of living inkaleko better kuri bantu bamene sasebenza mu government kuri bantu bamene ali benchito bamene bachita ba peace work makomboni mu mwakalingalinga kamanga chainda bantu bavutika bantu bavutika so noti daily tizimvera ati no shakafuswa bamumanga ndani bamumanga batika unga kainda kakwera sikabwerera kwezofunika ati akamanga shakafuswa kaunga takapeza ko paseti kwacha akamanga GBM akasaladi takapeza ko pa 50 kwacha then iyo yamenezo kamba ujakola winango na mumvera ati namangiwa 17 times so iyo iwonekera ati kuti ba UPND bafuna kuchita revenge sikumanga kuti ati pali mirandu iya is like monga ni revenge manje chifukwa anamangiwa 17 times nawe vambo kumanga wa PF manje so ni revenge ndiye hasa amene ni pesa afuna kuchita revenge.
Thank you very much Isaac.
Ngati Mayor Kitwe Mayor adandaula kuti ivi vintu sivili bwino then amuuza kuti shut up ichi means saza sevenza bwino chifukwa saza ona kuti vasokoneza vevaona vose vachita bwino pamene vasokoneza but auza vantu kuti ivi president visivili bwino vevatamangira kuyankha shut up Munye Zulu akambeko ati mpelekeni kukoti ala kwa chani so iwoneka monga ni bitterness chabe abantu.
Thank you very much.
If yamene tiri ma nani partisan tivutikiramo sitisebenza ku government sitiri mu PF but tivutikiramo tose either ni wa UPND ni wa PF ni nani partisan wose mazambians tivutikiramo amene ali bwino ni mabanja bantu amene asebenza mu government chifukwa wafora every month. So sembe ya ikakonzeru kukonserve economy na cost of living. Not kumanga abantu every time mukamanga muntu mirandu kuliba tayari amangi wakapera ni how many times but mirandu simvera kuti paja pana anamumanga yaenda bwanji. Anakachinda namangi wakapera ni 3-4 times stizi wakuti mirandu zija either zinasira or zikaliko. But chimvera chakuti anamumanga amuchosa pabeo kulipo kamene vienda. So bitterness chabe ndiye chakula.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac. Thank you very much. Gautama brought up a very important point that our peace credentials, our peace and security position never changed. We're still held. Our democratic credentials were never threatened. And he is right. Of course, there was some violence, especially between cadres. And all reports from 2001 have always cited the UPND with the ruling party as part of the violence. So the violence that occurs is not in isolation. The UPND have been perpetrators of violence too. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, Mr. Jacob. Kambankon, where are you calling from? Okay, Kambankon.
Niko na complain kuri wa PF wabe. Uvazo ngakuti chirungamon cha isi amene ma supporters. Ki supporters ona but monga UPND mwamena bwela papa hapa. Inabwela vazo ona papa hapa ndi civil remote. Oye mwamene la ona lembo. Kwa Emmanuel mwamba. Muzi wakuti vintu civil pamoshi. Kuyanga na kulengana na plan ya mene mwenze utipasa ba PF. Munga na kongoli za meze na charo. Inakuona kwanga hope chabe ine bantu inabwela ya chokamo because kuti mpasa chabe statement mweze mnabo makangi wa kumalasi. Kuti mzasiriza bwanye kongole kuna lipi. Tu monga hapa so bantu ngati bafunika kugwiriwa. Bagwiriwa chani bagwiriwe. Ngati wapeziwa na mwanda wazatoka. Wagwiriwe abantu mometi batavutikira na manje mometi nkalira manje hapa inanendo wa PF bati kumalasi nabo anachoka nabo unati hope ya siri maana
okay zikomo ba Jacob zikomo
nezo pesa kati muntu una kandrama kwa kamewapanga ukapanga tena kuacha mpesa kati muga wanapakati na makadasi injandena kushitani di campaign maningi nambe nyowa maningi ngasumuze ise tinamenyeka maningi na PF so munga pankani ine na number na premaka na president sema watu pasa kunesa chance chobweze because tunati wa maningi munga ife munga ma supporters wena chiribu kunataka kuti msogolele watu no wabwino munga mara ningira hapa so wena kuti mvera mushi ziko kwambi.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so Gautama says our peace credentials never failed. The UPND and PF have all been cited for violence in various electoral and observer mission reports. The other caller said, what about Mumbipiri was jailed for 429 days. Fred Member was recently arrested. So besides the raft of charges that the other people that are faced, especially on issues of freedom of expression. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes, your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm Lamek Zimba calling from Chama.
Lamek Zimba from Chama. Make your contribution, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to encourage you.
Thank you.
You just concentrate on your manifesto. Because if you are going to concentrate for your party manifesto, my dear, we are not going to join you. Did you get me, Mr. Mwamba?
Lamek, you are speaking to the nation. Kindly speak.
Yes. So we want to hear you, what you are going to do when you come into power.
Thank you, Lamek. Is that your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
What are you going to do?
So every day when we discuss a matter, towards the end, I offer my opinion over the matter we're discussing. So today we are discussing freedoms under threat. So towards the end, I'll propose what I think is best for our country.
Yes.
Ziko Mombuya, Ziko Mbonanzelu maningi kuchama. Ziko, thank you very much. My Mbuka brother from let's play the video of the president just for a minute, speaking about the Kitwe Mayor weaponizing, literally, and confirming what the minister Elisha Matambo had said. We had hoped that the president would reprimand the minister who stormed the mayor's office and castigated the mayor for expressing our opinion. Instead, the president supported his minister. Play that video.
And I want to send a message to the mayor of Kitwe. Mayor of Kitwe, I'm sending a message to you. We have no time to petty around. We must work together. Government is the executive. In this, what we are doing today, there is no opposition mayor. There is no ruling party mayor. There is no opposition MP. I'm repeating what I had said already, but I'm using different words. There is no opposition council chairperson. There is no ruling council chairperson. There is no opposition councillor. There is no ruling party councillors. There is no district commissioner or secretary to the cabinet, or indeed other permanent secretaries, all parastatals, indeed council workers that belong to a political party. In this business we are here for today, we are doing it for the 20 million citizens of Zambia. All of them.
We are entrusting you with this responsibility.
Thank you. We are discussing freedoms under threat, and we are discussing various pieces of legislation. We have a caller already. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Oh, this is Moses Mwira from Chambishi.
Moses Mwira from Chambishi.
Mr. Mwamba, the folks that contribute panono naine. In short, me I'm a nani partisan. But I think I have one problem with you people who are in politics. What is happening is this. When you politicians breaking the laws, and when the law is followed, you call it political harassment. But if a common citizen like me break a law, and police will come and arrest me, you say it's a rule of law. And I've followed you, the statement you were giving by Mr. Shakafuswa. I think Mr. Shakafuswa has been given a charge of inciting people to start throwing stones to the police. So, I think in the I think there is tension between UPND and PF. Instead of you preach peace, but it's like so I think to my side the PF has done a lot. PF has done a lot. This time, if there is anything, PF should come the last people to make a solution. But this time PF has done a lot in 7 years. PF has built roads, whatever. And I don't know why. What you kupikishanya. Yes, democracy by then by then I'm telling you it wasn't good. It was bad. But this time and in every statement mulepanga chako ati ba police bakwete issue no muntu, then you call it names of president, you know, is the one who is doing this, is the one who is instructing this. Tafire mwaika bwino. Ngatako ati abane nsuta bale bomba bakontole mbebe if not where be mule stay involved na ba president abashifishi be ngamba police ila case ba police ebale stand ya bashakafuswa, and I don't see your formula taking as the even political, because bashakafuswa already abapera charge yakati abastray inside around to tampo class aba police amawe. So I think in Monday no pompereko.
Thank you from Moses from
Chambishi.
From Chambishi. Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you.
You can call us on 0973-045292 and 0974-808-115. Let me take this call. Let's prepare the video for the Archbishop so that we just take a small short break. But if there's any call that's coming, let me take that call. Is the video playing?
We are entrusting you with this responsibility. You have a duty and to proclaim the gospel without fear and to confronting what is wrong even in our own society. For example, the abuse of power to ill-treat an offender like poor Kachasu brewers and their families. It is an abuse of power to put people on trial during press conferences. It is an abuse of power to engage foreign military agencies to our sovereign state without due consultations with the citizenry and the parliament. It is an abuse of confidence to be pacifying hunger with rhetoric. May St. Athanasius intercede for each and every one of us.
GDP, Millennium Development Goals, Zambia will reach Sapchan. Zambia reaching Amasapuyang. Narumba graph. Kwa Mrs. Graph, Kwa Mrs. Rutoshi Wamage. Kwa Mrs. Rutafu, Kwa Jack, Rutoshi Wamage, Ripate Marino. Quisa Panish, not graph. No. Hata ukwete wali ubunga Mzambia tapale fiori ai so mulewewa amen.
We are entrusting you with this responsibility. You have a duty and to proclaim the gospel without fear and to confronting what.
Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening, Honorable Mamba.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm Ponyi Kosa calling you from Solwezi.
Ponyi Kosa.
Yes, sir.
Solwezi. Make your contribution, my brother.
Oh, yes, sir. I just want to contribute a little bit.
Yes.
I just want you to make me understand. It's like you politicians, kwati mulatulufya, kwati finefira ndireva mdala lati tumawa kushani ukatwishi. If I ask you a simple question, why is Mr. Shakafuswa in the police cells? And this thing of calling the president names, whenever the people are called out for their wrongdoings that they are doing, then you happen to mention the name of the president each time and every time. I think that is very wrong. You are aspiring to be the president. God willing, maybe one day you also become the leader of this nation. I mean, now if the people, even when you are innocent, but the people happen to be mentioning your names each and every time, will you be happy? Honestly speaking, I think to me that is not being very good.
Thank you, Mr. Pony. Thank you, Mr. Kosa from Solwezi. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Joseph kwa Mandevu.
Joseph from Mandevu. My brother, make your contributions.
Bamwamba mlishani.
Yole sale tsunga mlishana imweyama.
Tulife wino yamba. Tule konkefe mulelanda. Andi na topic efe machita list we are following. Tulipamo?
MQI.
Even moneni if you akuma police and the like ama cases machita site in your article, in your sample article. Let's wait for the police to take the cases to court and the court to judge.
Okay.
I am opinion we are just complicating if you don't report some opinion political persecution. Let's wait till the court to decide. We'll see if the honorables got a case to answer. Then your video which they play kuliba mayor the president. I think what is there? What is wrong with the statement of a president over Raphael? Because he was calling that let's work together. If you are working for the people, let's not be partisan. We are working for the people. Shimon, where there is intimidation there, because he was even saying there is no ruling, there is no position, there is no what. We are all working for the people. And she was even also clapping. So what's wrong with that statement? I think if you are calling for development, regardless of the party you are belonging to, you should work for the people. Go and say. Not anyway, everyone has got a right to opinion. Like what the opinion from the father and the opinion from the mayor. But the statement, president, I don't see any intimidation mayor. So I'm sending a message that let's work together.
Thank you, Joseph.
Nothing wrong there.
Thank you very much.
People, they want you to do something. Tell people what you are going to do as a candidate to be. If you are having their calling, so now to refer to what you are going to do for the country.
Thank you very much. I give, like I said, I always give my thoughts at the end of the program. Don't be impatient. Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from Kitwe.
Your name, sir?
I'm Joseph.
Oh, another Joseph from Kitwe. Yes, my brother. Make your contributions.
My concern is very simple. As for me, the way the president came out talking about the mayor, I don't agree with that type of talking from the leader. The mayor is very junior to the president. If there was a problem, the president could have called the mayor or make any other way of correcting the mayor, not to go on public, or whether she was emotionally disturbed by the minister's words that he used in her office. Secondly, we are not supporting for arresting of anybody. Or I mean, we are not against the government or the police to do their job. The problem is coming when they are only arresting the peer of people. The other people are making so many mistakes and doing wrong things, even from UPND. You can't fight corruption by only dealing with people outside the government. If they are going to fight corruption, let them do it the way Monasa was doing it. There are people who was fired, like Neverfumba was fired from MMD because of corruption and other stuff. So if they are going to be arresting people from PF or people from who are outside the UPND
then to me, I don't see them fighting corruption.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you very much. Let's take other calls. Thank you, Joseph. I have so many calls today. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello?
Good evening.
Oh.
Yes, we can hear you, please. Where are you calling us from? Yes, my brother.
Hello?
We can hear you very clearly.
Hello?
We can hear you very, very clearly.
Hello?
Uh-oh, and he's calling from the US. I don't like missing these calls from the US or from the diaspora. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
You are talking to Msonda Sumkonda, calling you from Koshi District, Central Province.
Yes, Mr. Msonda, from the area of farming in Mkushi.
Yes, how are you, Mr. President?
I'm very well, sir. Please make your contribution.
Yes, my president, my contribution is that, our president, Ichibemba Chirando Kwewati, Insofunga Shirelwe Fichulira Mofiani. So, Mweba Likumuru, Onangula Mweba, Winakari, Mweba Kwatenda Rama, please. Give us chance na ifwe misepera iya kubomba iya goba tuyikwatire field because ngamule rwa mulelanda ndo kwa ulokuleta development obuntazi wala sanga twe balachulira mu ifwe bokwe na Zambia more especially kwe misepera ifwe iyo milandire ya goba timo mweka mule shopana mule chitashani at the end of the day development taile moneka and again tukatampo kutotonga ya tuchinje pate tuvite poimbi no mwema leaders tutangulule ni ishire isume yako bati twenderemo yako bati okay na ifwebele tukasheko n'abana besu bakeshwa ko bati nshira baringiro kwenderamo ni ishira yaso instead of former politics that's because I'm belonging to this party so yonse nangu party development nangu tapari incho yandifeli kula chitafye opposition say no teach us the good way please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Msonda from Mukushi. You can call us on 0973-045292. Let's pick those calls. Let's hear your thoughts. They've been, okay. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Chora Richard. Just calling from Kabanana Site and Service.
Yes, Chola. Yes. Entitayama mulishani.
I used to meet you in South Africa when you were still an ambassador there.
Oh, you came to the office?
No, yes, with Mr. Smanya.
Oh, yes. Ferdinand Smanya, very good leader. Make your contribution, my brother.
I concur with my brother. I think the one just listened from Kitwe, with is it David something? Yeah. You make a very good point where you say when you are arresting people, there's no one who is against about that, and we look on the both sides of the coins, whereby if it's a PF person who has committed an offense and it needs some clarification from the police and other things, they need to do so. But also on the other side, there are other people from the people who are in the ruling, who are in the government, who are doing some certain things. And if they are being left out without being questioned and taken to the police, then I think fighting of corruption is on one-sided, which I think even for me, I don't see it to be good. I would like also to point out that, we are here to develop our country. All of us, we need to put our heads together and make sure that we deliver and develop our country so that our people benefit. We've got a lot to do in our country. But if you concentrate on just arresting every time, arresting, I think even you, Mr. Mwamba, if you become today, you are a president, you focus on that kind of content, then the country will not develop at the fullest. I think that is my observation, because we've got a lot which people are still waiting for us to have being done by the government. That is my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I see many listeners and viewers discussing the case of Honorable Shaka Fuswa. Let me put it very clearly. Our objection to Honorable Shaka Fuswa's arrest was the manner he was arrested. He's a member of parliament. He's of fixed aboard. A call-out could have worked. He was arrested on Africa Freedom Day, a day we celebrate our freedoms as Africans. It was a holiday. He was with his family at a shopping mall. Would you like to be arrested while you are with your family at a shopping mall? Is that fair use of the law? So we have condemned in the strongest manner. Honorable Shaka Fuswa just required the call out like we did to Edgar Lungu. Was it necessary for the police to bring 200 police officers, to bring anti-riot gear units at the residence of the former president? Was it necessary to go to the former president's house? There might be nothing wrong with what they are pursuing, but the manner in which law enforcement agencies are conducting themselves is a matter of concern. And before I allow this caller to speak, the cases I've cited are all criminal defamation and hate speech. That is what we are discussing. My brother, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Upao Kayawe calling you from Chibuyunji.
Upawa from
Chibuyunji.
Yes, my brother.
Good evening.
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening.
Wow, it's good to contribute to this national program.
Yes.
I think it is right there. Zambians realize that politics is not a game. Politics is a way of changing people's lives. Because politicians, you are given responsibilities to change the face of the country and people's lives. As a new generation, we are tired of this kind of cheap politics from either side, whether the UPND or the PF. The PF, to be honest, specifically, you messed up a lot. And we do not want to see a repeat of the same actions. And particularly, you, Mr. Mwamba, you are one of the people who contribute to the downfall of this country. It is high time that you reshaped yourself as PF, and for the UPND, it is high time that even the president also started addressing matters, taking them seriously. As far as people are concerned when it comes to arresting the UPND officials. The UPND officials should be arrested once they are found wanting. But as for now, we still have cases also going on with the PF. And to make matters worse, most of you PF candidates, political leaders, you are still abrogating the law up to now. You do not want to adhere to laws. You keep on running away. What kind of picture are you painting? Do you still want to rule this nation? Do you still want to bounce back? Please, let us start doing things correctly and make sure that the right thing is done for the young generations and the poor Zambians to benefit. Politics should be done in a different way. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Power from Chibuyunji. Of these people that have been arrested, many of them are not even PF. Honorable Tembo runs his own party, Patriots for Economic Progress. Honorable Mnia Zulu is an independent from Lumezi. Honorable Chilufya Tayali is not a member of the Patriotic Front. I just wanted to make that clear. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Ndita yama ni mweba nielo mletu mino kufuma kuisa.
Etumina nukasumbaleza mkwai
bamwewa kasumbaleza landeni po yama.
Mkwai kwena viva ningalanda kwa president mkwai. Aba bantu nzobo ndeu kwa bari manera kwa tibali semu na ubuteko bwabo to nderanda kutaka bati bareke nifye mwira balandira ko panti mwa bare tulandira ko ni mwebu so be na tabare tumona ko lo
mkwai tuleo mfwa
so be na tabare mwa kwa timwe ne emo mure tulandira ko kulingana neko tulepitamo so kyonge tabare tumona bena bare tumona be finomo so bekeni to kubalandira ko mure to kulandira ko tumone kunja njoko bare.
Thank you, Mamwewa. You ought to worry when Zambians become quiet. And personally, as an analyst, I said Zambians were too quiet prior to the 2021 elections. I said, I can't read their minds. You have to be very careful when Zambians go quiet. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from?
Yeah, speaking to Chico. I'm calling you from within Osaka.
Chico, make your contributions.
Yeah, my contribution, Mr. Mwamba, is that, you see, the problem which is there, you are just too quick to judge the government in terms of cases. I think it would be fair if you let those people that are accused and those people who are being prosecuted, to let the law take its course. We're not judging anyone that you're guilty before the law or whatsoever. Let it be like that. Let it be fair. If you had your time in government, we saw a lot of cases which we don't want to talk about. I think that would be very fair, Mr. Mwamba.
Thank you, Chico.
You want to be a president, and I think you should be realistic and honest, open, because you need to show us your true colors.
Thank you.
I follow you too much to be. I follow you too much to be honest. You're a very intelligent person, but you're just in the wrong party. If I was you, I would have formed my own party and then do it on my own.
Yo, Natasha, thank you for that advice. Endita, thank you very much.
All right, good night. Enjoy the show as well.
Yeah. Okay. Chico is saying we should give these cases time, but I've laid my case that the law is being weaponized by the president. I've played videos that shows you that the president is weaponizing law enforcement agencies, therefore to act in the manner that they are acting. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay,
Endita yamabalisha kuchinsali.
Naho ikulise bwino nde kutika ka program wako.
Enkwai.
Atote natina nemposepo.
Iyo landeni yame chalo chile myumfwa.
Atacha sana. Inecho nindana chako kwa bati ba UPND. Elo baisa makabatire tosa tubombera bena Zambia tabashe mukaka abantu awe. Ilo chiro chabwina Kristo. Tule tuleberesha nyuluse. Uluse. Batwadisho uluse pantanchi mulebe ngakurufye not weke shepo. Kumwelelo uluse ngesho batoyele ba ichi batene cyonse chakakonkanye pona la teke chalo muvusuma no matabale tulanga chidia. Baletinga balanda maroka chitikefi balanda tinoka chita protect Edgar Lungu nebona mawano but grind yali la kuja yedi vinshi to maino chitechalo bali wami yakono ko tuli kumpanga kuli amasola bamwamba kono fino ndi tamba itopo stand tamba ndi mimona live so katwale mvo bwino kati chiliro fila so no mbani umuntu bala musunga jani kula mufya shinamira bafya shinga balabe Ile vya bukada mana tubukada bupo tule ufile to muna kumuli mwe wa fiashi mwe wa kalambabe no fo landa pona tuantu katama 45 years kili bakulu tule to achindikana fira fimi ngabalu fyanyo umuntu na kuchechi mfira ba pastor bala bachitire ayishile wesha ba Edgar Lungu na bamwe ne padia na ba mukaba formal late ba sada na ba Edgar basaposhanya bakambuli na ba Edgar padia Ivini basa tabali poshenye na bayashi ba mwana wasa so tuberesha nyuruso mucharo chino charo chabuna Kristo no mbanga balanda charo chabuna Kristo batife chitikata file langu kuna Kristo nchitapale ko ture
Thank you very much Vayama thank you kuchinsa liuko yonke sami monanga na isa
na totela sana bamba
Thank you Moses Tembo from Muflira, my dear listener, dedicated caller, he's been trying to reach on both numbers, and I can see every time he calls, there's someone on the line. Moses from Muflira, please call. We love your voice every day. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mama.
Good evening.
I'm calling you within the circle.
Yes, your name?
Mika.
Yes, Mika. Reduce volume on your line and please tell us your contribution.
Okay, so Mr. Mamba, one, I would like to condemn the manner in which Honorable Shakafosho was arrested. First thing first, Honorable Shakafosho is a member of parliament. They would have used a call out to his office. He has got an office. But they didn't do that. They just used a different way to harass him. He has got a family, and the police kept on searching for him, and they even apprehended him at a different place while not using a good channel to offer a call out so that he should avail himself. Then the second thing is the president. He seems to be naive. His response on whatever he hears on the social media, he has centralized everything to himself. I strongly feel that's not healthy for a sitting president, because we need to see confidence in him. But if he keeps on doing these things, then we lose our confidence, and the citizen seems not to be protected. So we seek the president to be the center of everything and to be able to protect everyone, rather than to harass the innocent citizens. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I missed Moses again. Moses from Muflira, we are waiting for your call. Please call you. We have to get a great exception for you. We have to make time for you. So today we've been discussing the decision by the president on 23rd December 2022. He signed, the amendment number 25 of 2022, which repealed Section 69 of the Penal Code. This was criminal defamation of the president. But we have seen repeatedly leaders of the opposition, members of society being arrested on charges of hate speech and issues that are bordering on freedom of expression. That has been the discussion today. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Tembo from Mufia, as you said.
We missed you. We missed you. Please make your contributions. Yes.
There's what you call is that song we say, take emba man, what take emba kuichipiu yake.
Yeah, Chashani, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Then there's another way they like to sing. Urubara rumunga wa bosa mkano komone istunturu.
Yeah, shonse kufuisa. Pan shonse shaona ika.
Exactly. What the president is doing is, he's saying what we are doing is for the 20 million people. It's not for PF, it's not for UPND, but at the beginning, he talks ill about the Kitwe Mayor. What happens? People will not listen to the good message that he's saying. So what he needs to do is remove the Ichipiu, as I've put it. Now, the followers, I've been listening to the program. The followers was Masengo from Kasempa and the others. The way they are coming out with a bitterness, it's not good for the country, really. We've been ruled by other presidents before. We've never seen such kind of a thing. And it's quite threatening. It's quite threatening. It's not good for a country, really. I don't know if the advisors are there or they are not there, or he listens to them or he doesn't. We don't expect such a thing from from that high office. No. You see, that Matambo went to the office with the mayor. They had a chat. It should have ended there. You see, it's very, very embarrassing. We are looking at Sakafusa being called. This one tomorrow. That one.
No, we continue to pray for you. Thank you for your contribution, and I know today was not an economic subject which you are vested in, but you've given very good insights. Thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, President Mwamba.
Good evening.
I'm Mr. Mwanza. I'm calling you from Mundola.
Mr. Mwanza from Mundola. Kindly make your contributions. No, Mr. Mwanza. Mwanza,
yes.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Mwanza.
Yes.
Mr. Mwamba, I expected you, because you were information permanent secretary, you have worked in various positions. I think you are more experienced person. I'm expecting you, I'm expecting you to guide tell some of these people have never worked in government, how the government runs. But now if you are not there, mind you are contesting, you want to consult the president. You should start selling yourself. You should stop talking on other people. You talk on yourself. What you are going to do for Zambia. And I believe that when the HH was campaigning, he was telling Zambians, if you vote for me, I'll do this, I'll bring the money which these people have stolen. And that's what he's doing. You now should also say, when I come as a president, I'll do A, B, C, D. I think that one, it will assist you. But now if you are talking on behalf of the other people, meaning you are not selling yourself. You have been in government before, compared to some of these people who have never worked in government. Please, guide the Zambians. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have free counsel from Chipata, from Mr. Mwanza, who's in Dola. Thank you very, very much for your wise counsel. And we've been discussing the issue of freedom of expression and freedoms that are under threat. And I've said the police are using two laws: criminal defamation under Section 191 of the Penal Code and the new law, Cybersecurity and Cyber Crimes Act, in the same manner they were using criminal defamation of the president. And we've seen a list of people they have arrested, which I have talked about. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, Ambassador Munibwanji.
Tiribu ino ndimwe bandani.
Ndine Gaino. Yeah, from Kafiwe.
Gaino from Kafiwe.
Yeah, we are following the program that you have, but we want to say something, one thing. I know, yes, to arrest someone is not good in such manner, okay? But the point is that we need to recall the way we are before in UPND. How many times did you arrest the UPND members? How many times did the people was beaten in the street? How many people was died? So those things we need to recall before we go on platform. And you, Mwamba, you are very intelligent. I don't know why you are still there sticking that green party. I don't know why. As we are following you, we want to support you, but the party where you are, Mwamba, we can't support you. And we have to, if you open your party, we go together.
I think I'll get a lot of support from the UPND. They are all telling me that they support me, but I should go elsewhere. Thank you very much. Let's take this call. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Teddy calling you from Mazabuka.
Yes, Mr. Teddy from Mazabuka. Kindly make your contributions.
Yes, my contribution for this evening is that I think we are being unfair to the current government, because I think, as far as I'm concerned, the current government is a government which has stuck to its promise of the rule of law. There are some people who have suggested that the current government has been arresting only the opposition political parties' leaders, which is not true, and it's quite unfair. I will tell you that the person from the mayor from Mongo is a senior UPND official who committed a crime and was arrested. We have another permanent secretaries, the DCs from Wapula province, who committed crimes and have been also arrested under this current regime. So for people to suggest that this government is just arresting the opposition is being unfair. I thank you for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your contributions. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm Innocent and I'm calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, Innocent.
Yes, greetings to Ambassador Mwamba.
Greetings, my dear brother. Please make your contribution.
Yes, please. I just want to make a quick submission to you, sir.
Yes.
That I think you can make a very good candidate if you became serious with your political life. The issues that you're trying to raise, sir, having the background that we are from, where we're coming from, where the PF used to threaten people, PF used to kill people, PF used to, intimidate people. People, like, they would go to HH's house with tear gas, they would go there with fully armored. If you knew that, sir, and admitted those mistakes,
You can't stand here today and say your freedoms are under threat. How? If there's a case against a member of parliament or any member, citizen of this country, and then they are summoned by the police. Okay, yes. Maybe we can talk about maybe the way, the format like Kamwiro was talking about. Yes, but if you're saying your freedoms are under threat, you're not being realistic, sir. Because you are given more freedom. I think, yeah, you've been appearing on many radio stations and TV stations to present what you think concerning the governance of the country. So for you to stand and say the freedoms are being under threat, you're not being truthful. And I think if this is how you're going to be used by people, I think you're going to mess your political life. I'm telling you, you're going to mess your political career, because you're one person that I look up to and say, one day, if this man became serious with his political life, we can just run to this man. And I don't know what is with Zambian politicians. They're always messing their life when it comes to how they should rebrand their name. I think for now, sir, come out of that shell of the PF and trying to fight battles that I don't think UPND or any person has got an issue with you. I don't think so. But I think you're trying to slowly tarnish your name because they're trying to fight battles that don't concern you. I thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Today I've got a lot of personal advice that is coming to me. I can see we have so many calls. I'll take the last 3 phone calls and we close. It's Friday. We want to Bakwale, we know we have to observe Sabbath, we have to go into the weekend, and have to allow you to do other things. Let's take the last 3 calls. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Evaristo calling you from Kanyama.
Yes, Evaristo. Quickly make your contributions.
Okay, Mamamba.
Mkwai.
Ino muonekana nzeru maningi manje pati ya nene mwini. Ili na toti maningi. Onani Mamamba. Imo vantu mukunga futi mkazituza vazona. Muzo sani timu paya ma politicians timu kamba vazona. Ngati ino mwanga papawa olo wa UPND wa papawa olo vena angwa nabwela kusogolo pama vaku zati ro ni ro. Ngati wapanga mlandu olo wezeli mu PF wezeli mchane olo ndweruli ulimulili mpati wa mulo iza kukonka. So it's not like mkapwela po mwava mwamba ngati washakafuso wapanga mlandu nguvasi ya iya nika law yenda iko. And then for the thing is very important. Wamwamba sakirani party ya nemu zapanga mweka. PF singa hotel. Kuzini kampiongo.
Evaristo, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evaristo from Kanyama. Let me take 2 more calls. We close. I'll give my proposals of what I think should be done to this country, and we will hear your views. Quickly make your calls. And good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Solwezi.
From Solwezi, and your name, sir?
My name is Esau.
Yes, Esau. Thank you very much. Make your contributions.
Okay, the first thing, Mr. Mwamba, is that first of all, I think leadership yenu, mkumona kwandi, yale bafie mwino, you as the Ambassador Mwamba, and because my experience, I think you have, you can lead this nation in mwino. Ikilefua kwa pata kwa wati, na UPND, that busy accusing PF, karema PF actually, na wala PF wanifi. So mwasa sango kwa PF na UPND, mwanza pana mkatama problem. For example, by UPND, if you remember, you remember that violence that was there. It was perpetrated by UPND. When the lost elections in 2016 in Southern Province, what happened? We know all of us. People are just who do not hail from Southern Province. There was a PF commander who died in Rufosa. There was that in a particular formula. All those issues. Mwasa ngwadana wakatama witness. Na wena wa PF na wakatama witnesses. Ingewefi ne violence ne fiashana. So I think that who are united as a nation, that we So these are accusations and counter-accusations, they will not help us. I think it's about you are in the wrong party. Which one is the right party? The right party, because in UPND there are human beings, blood and water. PF, there are human beings, blood and water. I think whether you are in PF or UPND, when you are a leader, you are a leader. So when we in PF stay, if you become a president, I think you have a good preparation material. Put him watching the film, it can even become a better PF than it was before. That is my only advice here. Ambassador Mamba, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Evaristo, and thank you for your good advice. Today has been a day of advice, people giving me advice, and I'm grateful. I'm listening to all your views and your contributions, and I like the insightful nature of Esau's contributions. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Mr. Waria.
Yes, Mr. Waria.
I'm calling from Kitwe.
Mr. Waria from Kitwe, make your contributions quickly.
Isine balando ko bati yo bari paya bantu shani nyekinampa pushako. Uzi ababe nabantu balanda bo bari paya bantu nshabo bene. Because they always complain about you bari paya basi bari paya bantu bari paya bantu. No but nari papa bantu nshabo bene bari paya.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much, and thank you for that. Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. I'm Moses Tembo. I'm calling from Florida again.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think I just want to reiterate to those who are saying Ambassador Mwamba leave PF and form your own political party. No. This is all part of the rebranding process. It's just a testament to say PF has got serious think tanks. And it's a team. We are just changing members, removing those you condemn, put them aside, and those who are clean up in front, and PF moves on. PF is the ANC of Zambia. It is not going anywhere. So those who are saying PF is dirty, it's not. I've liked the way the one from Sewezi just speaking a while ago, the way he summarized it. Let's hold on to PF and make sure that PF survives.
Thank you,
PF bounces back.
Moses, a wise man from Muflira. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contributions. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. I'm really supposed to end the program.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Emmanuel Mama.
Yes, sir.
We are talking to Mr. Nsele.
Mr.
Nsele, Zingalume, Zambia.
Mr. Nsele from Zingalume. Make your contribution, my brother.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. I think in our country we need the proper leadership. Look what is there. People are just accusing one another. So what I'm appealing to Mr. Mwamba, please, soldier on. But the only thing what I'm trying to advise, whenever you come a president, please don't put a blind eye to those people who are voting for you. What I've seen, most of politicians, you forget all the promises we have been talking about. Look at the Zingarume Road, look at the clinic, there are a lot of problems are there. Please, Emmanuel Mwamba, can you tell me this country, we need you, we are still on your knees. Things are not okay as it is now.
Okay.
So many cases in that.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me just take this call. My boss, are you contributing to the program or it's a personal call?
So tell me the subject, can I contribute to your program, then I'll call you later.
Okay, I have the privilege of having Honorable Nakacinda on the program. Today we are discussing the intolerance which I was establishing of the president and the numerous arrests that have occurred and this government on issues of hate speech and freedom of expression. They are using Section 191 of the Penal Code, and they are also using the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act. I have argued that this is a promotion of intolerance, and especially the president naming individuals on his press conference, including you, Honorable Nakacinda. So maybe make your contribution to that's what we are discussing, but I'm about to wind up. So you'll be our last caller.
Your Excellency, I called precisely for that.
Yeah.
One is because we are privileged in this country that outside people like the late former President Rupia Banda, who were seasoned diplomats and were deployed on behalf of Zambia to different jurisdictions to represent Zambia. The likes of Venon Mwanga, who of course is in retirement, seasoned diplomats in our generation. Some of the people that are supposed to be authorities to speak to the issues to do with how democracy is practiced in other jurisdictions and governance systems are managed in other jurisdictions. You are one of those that have been privileged on behalf of this country to represent us in South Africa, represent us at the highest body, the AU, which represents all the entire continent in terms of diplomatic engagement.
Yes.
And therefore, you are an authority to speak to us as Zambians in respect of comparative advantage, whether or not Zambia still remains the shining light insofar as democratic tenets and the growth of democracy. But you have not only in the Party Patriotic Front been a great resource, but I think at national level you have spoken.
Thank you very much.
And if the UPND wanted to enrich themselves as a government, they would have been paying attention. But as it were, speaking to the question you've asked, the challenge we have is that we have allowed a situation where the ascendance to the presidency is so loose. It's just about going to the poll, speak to Zambian people. You could even be playing to the gallery. You become president. I think moving forward, it's important that people have a track record and have at least a minimum level of experience in terms of understanding governance. And I'm not here to patronize you, Ambassador, but the fact that you are a civil servant, you have also served former presidents and also served a president in office and also been a diplomat. Like I said earlier, Patriotic Front is blessed to have a reservoir of a lot of politicians who are experienced to speak to issues of governance. This intolerance only goes to speak to the fact that we have a head of state who's inferior. He has a complex, an inferiority complex that drives them towards oppressing divergent views. The arrests of Honorable Rubinda, just on the basis that he spoke to the conduct of presiding officers at Parliament, and Parliament is the People's Assembly. That's an epitome of our democracy. That is where the entire 20 million Zambians are supposed to be represented through their members of Parliament. And therefore that house is supposed to be subservient to us who usher in those who represent us, including the presiding officers. So having a leader of an opposition political party at the level of Vice President Honorable Luinda commenting on the conduct of a parliament which the party presides over has contributed 58 members of parliament being arrested because they expressed an opinion. That is an absurdity in our democracy. The arrest of a provincial chairman who is provincial chairman for Lusaka province, where the seat of power resides, and also the residency of the former president is, where the former president was being subjected to something that you have spoken to can never be seen being done in any country, either in Africa or outside, where a former president is subjected to police officers going to raid his residence. He comes just like all of us to express his dissatisfaction and the objection to that kind of conduct. Is now being arrested for a misdemeanor or proposing violence. All that only speaks to the fact that we have a government in place that is not secure by themselves. They have a complex. They are so threatened by all of you experienced politicians and knowledgeable politicians. They try to paint you as a propagandist, try to paint you this and that. But I think it's important for Zambia to begin to appreciate that through the taxpayer, we have developed a resource of knowledge, reservoir of knowledge and wisdom in terms of not only how we should conduct ourselves as a people in Zambia, but you have been exposed to trends in other places, and you should be able to benefit all of us on what is supposed to be done. It's really unfortunate that we have reduced politics in Zambia to patronage, praise singers, and all that. And I just wanted to contribute as a way of encouraging you. Keep on. It's not about a patriotic front. This is not about partisan politics. I think you are such an asset to this country, and therefore you must be heard in terms of your contribution to the development of our democracy in this country.
You've summarized it so well. What an encouragement. Honorable Raphael Nakacinda is our member of the Central Committee. He's also the chairperson of Information and Publicity, and Army's deputy there. And on the matter we're discussing today, is one of those victims. He has been arrested numerous times on charges of hate speech and criminal defamation. His matters are currently in court, like that of Sean Temple, that of Chilufya Tayali, that of Honorable Munia Zulu, like that of Savoy Imboela, like that of Christopher Kapita, like many others that have been charged. In fact, I did an article last year where I said under President Hakainde Hichilema, he had arrested more people under criminal defamation than President Edgar Lungu in a period of 7 years. That's how numerous the arrests were. And other people, including Dr. Sishua, also spoke to that matter. We are glad that on 23rd December 2022, President Hakainde Hichilema repealed the Penal Code, Section 69 of the Penal Code, and amended the Act using Amendment number 25 of 2022. But he has moved to use Section 191 of the Penal Code, where they are arresting people under criminal defamation. Savoy Mboela is in court under the complaint of Clayson Hamasaka, a director at State House, under criminal defamation. And there are many people that have been arrested under the Cyber Crimes Act number 20 of 2021. Today we're condemning the arrest of Honorable Shakafuswa, not on the charges putting him, the manner that they arrested him. They tracked him using the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act. By the way, you Zambians need to know that a police officer just needs to go to Airtel, MTN, or Zamtel when they identify your number, and you can be tracked where you are. That's what happened to Honorable Mnia Zulu. That's what happened to Honorable Shakafuswa, who was having lunch with his family at a shopping mall, and the police tracked him using the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act. Many people, especially from the UPND, are saying, but Emmanuel, this is a law you enacted and therefore it's biting you. Colleagues, a wrong is a wrong. If a wrong occurred under PF, a wrong is a wrong under this government. In fact, Chapter 1, Linda Kasson, the former Law Association of Zambia, and her colleagues have taken this matter to court. I'm aware that even the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice have asked her to drop that case, to say we'll be presenting amendments to the parliament to remove these oppressive and draconian positions where citizens are being harassed and freedom of expression is being infringed on. Many callers said, Emmanuel, what would you do differently? Number one, I'll repeal all laws that are draconian in nature, that are colonial in nature, that infringe on the rights of citizens, on your freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. I will expand the democratic space. I will allow criticism, and I think I've demonstrated it here on my program. It doesn't matter how much you come. No matter how strong your views are against me, I'll let you speak. That is how it should be. A leader should allow the alternative views, divergent views. Even if I don't agree with you, I have to protect your right to speak. I have to protect your right to hold opinion. I have to protect your right to express that view that you have, and to hold your thoughts and express them in a manner you like, whether you are going on radio, whether on Facebook, whether through any other expression. Intolerance, as we are seeing, breeds cadres who then, the matters now, intolerance breeds violence, because the cadres, if they hear the president speak about the mayor of Kitwe, if the cadres hear the provincial minister speak about the mayor, that you are not equal to the president, you can't speak against the president, come to us, don't speak about the president, you are unleashing violence against such individuals. If the president, Gautama Nyerere, gave an example that a king complained about a citizen and the community rose and killed that citizen, it's not the community that killed that citizen, it was that king. The power of tongue, the power of the tongue of the king must be guarded, and President Hakainde Hichilema must not be careless in the manner he speaks, especially about citizens. Our democracy remains nascent. The duty of every leader is to build on our democracy, and we are not doing that. We should not take away from democracy. The judiciary should be our last bastion, but as we have seen, they've been collaborators with the executive in appeasing them and even failing to adjudicate on matters of expanding freedom of expression and freedom of assembly. There was a judiciary that expunged the Public Order Act in 1998 and the Christine Mulundika case. The judiciary did a bravery thing, but we saw the executive the following day walk to Parliament and enact another Public Order Act. We'll have to expand that, and we have to strengthen the judiciary. We will return the tenure of the judiciary. Currently, the judiciary do not have security of tenure, because one single complaint to the Judicial Complaints Commission, they can write a note to the president, and the following day, a judge can be suspended, a judge can be expelled. I'll re-entrench the independence and autonomy of the judiciary. I will not weaponize law enforcement agents in the manner that President Hakainde Hichilema is doing, where he's literally weaponizing law enforcement agencies, whether it's the SEC, DEC. They even take pride in coming against the perceived political opponents of the president. As we end the program, I'd like to thank you all for your calls, those that spoke, those that I can see my phone remains buzzing. Sadly, colleagues, we have to end. The brief comes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll pick another topic for Monday, and we'll let you know. We are ending the program with counsel from the Archbishop, the Most Reverend Dr. Alik Banda, when he was advising how not to abuse the law, how not to abuse power. And this is directed to the president, because I think the head of state needs counsel in this matter. Good night. First, we have a verse that we always end with. My producer, I don't know if we have that verse quickly, so that I read out and bless our audience. We always read from Numbers 6, verse 24 to 26. The calls are still coming, I'm sorry. The Lord bless you and keep you. Oh, these calls, there are so many. The Lord makes his face shine on you and may be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Good night. Spend your weekend very well. You and your beloved ones must stay safe until Monday. God bless you. Let's listen to the Archbishop as he closes with the counsel and then the theme song. God bless you.
We are entrusting you with this responsibility. You have a duty. and to proclaim the gospel without fear, and to confronting what is wrong, even in our own society. For example, the abuse of power to ill-treat an offender, like poor Kachasu brewers and their families. It is an abuse of power to put people on trial during press conferences.
Mwamba Emmanuel,